Creative Grids now produces a 12.5-inch version of their popular 60-degree ruler. On a 60-degree ruler, the actual measurement goes from the base to the top of the triangle, which is 12.5 inches. The side, since it is the hypotenuse of the triangle, actually is greater than 12.5 inches. So make sure you're measuring from the top point to the bottom of the ruler. In this case, we have our gripper dots on all of the outside edges of the ruler, so when you place this on fabric and put pressure on the ruler, it will not slide. And there is a strip of gripper right down through the middle, so that will be applying pressure on the fabric when your hand is over the ruler and you're using it. The outside corners are all 60-degree angles, and the center has a line here. The 1/4 inch dash line on each side allows you to add the seam allowance if you want to cut 30-degree triangles to square up the edges of a 60-degree triangle if you are sewing these together to make rows. The lines are marked every 1/4 inch, alternating in white and black markings, so it is very easy to see. And it goes up from 0 down to 12.5 inches. In this particular case, I wanted to use the full height of the ruler, so I took 6 2.5-inch strips and sewed them together to create a 12.5-inch finished piece. Then when I cut my 60-degree triangles from this, I got these units. You flip the ruler around, however, to cut out the other side. So when I did that and cut out these other units, I had 2 that had the light on the top and 2 that had the red on the top. So in order to make this table runner, I had to cut out 3 sets of strips because I needed 6 that had the light at the top. So that means out of 6 sets of strips, I could make 2 table runners that alternated the colors. In this particular case, it's very easy to do. This hole will not be there. That is just created because I have not sewn these strips together, so I can show you how this works. So this is a very simple hexagon pattern that would be a cute little table topper or a tree skirt for a small tree. And in this case, from bottom to top, it would measure 24.5 inches. Okay. In this case, I alternated the fabrics. So when I cut half of them with the red on the top and half with the white on the top, I got this pattern that forms, and it forms little stripes going the whole way around. And so this is a very cute and clever pattern too that's very easy to do. If you press your seams in opposite directions, they will automatically butt when you go to sew your seams together. So it is very easy to match all of these stripes up. And so all of your seams will match in your finished project. Then I wanted to see what would happen if I ran my stripes vertically instead of horizontally. So I sewed 2 of these sets together, alternating my center color, and I ended up with this chevron type pattern. If I put like fabrics together, look what happens. So this is a very attractive look too. It looks totally different, and you start to see diamonds forming. In this case, I combined the stripe units with the red triangle at the top, and by alternating them, I made a very attractive looking border. On the ends, to square this up then, I would simply use the 30-degree mark on the center of this ruler to trim this down to size, and so I would have a square end on each side of my border. I can alternate the fabrics here, but see, I need to start with the red here because they're every other color. If I tried to do it and used the other half that have the ivory on the top, I would just get one continuous stripe and I would lose any sort of pattern. So you need to cut them all with the same fabric on the top, which means the other half will be wasted, or you can use them in diamonds or other places in your project. For more information, go to www.creativegridsusa.com.